Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech protected.
The following is independently produced programming. The views and opinions expressed are those of the producers and do not reflect the views and opinions of Falls Area Community Television, our staff, or board of directors.
Secrets in the shadows, lost and found. Truth in every echo, loud and clear. Keep on with the long road, no more fear. In the halls of power, whispers grow. Every secret cut beneath the undertone. Honest stories hidden in the dust. On this long road, in the truth we trust.
Hello, welcome to The Long Road. I'm your host, Chris Roberts. This show is going to be about consumerism and how it affects us. But I just want to, before I jump into it, we're going to talk about self-help books, because self-help books help fuel the fire for consumerism. One of the things, when I see something that I feel that just isn't right or it doesn't make sense, I'll go to Google and other search engines and say, hey, why aren't these politicians showing courage? Or why do they have their lack of integrity? Why are business people doing this? And they send me into different directions. And what I do is, then I do the research, and I can tell you every single show when I'm preparing for the show is, I've learned a heck of a lot. I'm 70 years old, and I'm learning stuff that I should have learned or in school. Okay? Which would have made life a heck of a lot easier, but it isn't taught. And a little off track, if you look at American history and you look at some of the really smart people, geniuses, educational geniuses around the world in the history, self-taught is the most common thing. And so, like it says, when I do these shows, I learn a lot. And so, again, when I send it out to the audience, no matter how small it is or large it is to get it out to you, to get you to think, or maybe get you to Google and find out, what about this? What about that? Okay? And the reason I'm starting off with self-help books, okay, in the year 2020, the people on the books, who print books and publish books, they really don't like to say anything, like to give statistics. But in 2020, there were 85,253 self-help books. And American people spent $10.5 billion on self-help books. Right now, what they're saying is self-help books in 2020, 18.6 million self-help books were bought. 18.6 million. An estimate 15,000 new self-help books are published in the United States each year. In 2021, sales jumped 19.5. They were up nearly 25% in 2020. Renewal and self-improvement did especially well. Topics such as mind, body, and spirit were up 63%. Self-help 30%. Cooking 22%, religion 13%. And the 12 most common, the best. You want to improve your confidence? That is the number one. The number one. 10%, over 10% of the self-help books were bought for people who wanted to improve their self-confidence. Almost 8% bought self-help books for their career, learn how to interview to get a job. 7% of the people who bought books bought them because they felt that they needed to be motivated. Communication, listening, public speaking, that was 7%. To build up on your strengths and personal weaknesses, 6.3. Self-understanding, 5.5. Leadership, 7.4. Organization and efficiency, 7.7. Oh, leadership was 4.7. Family and how to parent and get along relationship, 4.7. How to have passion, how to create vision, 3.9. And how to be assertive and how to get a positive attitude, 3.1. Okay. Okay, in 2018, 2019, some of the books are Girl, Stop Apologizing, or The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Propelled Growth. Okay? Ooh, that is great. How far do you think you're going to get in school or work or anything if I'm coming to work and I just don't give an F? I just don't give an F what my wife thinks or feels tonight. I'm just taking care of myself. Girl, stop apologizing. You know, there are times when you need and should apologize. There are some times where you see the situation getting ready to explode, but you haven't done anything wrong, but you take the higher road and apologize to calm everything down. Okay. And some of the self-help books, Think and Grow Rich, it sold over 70 million copies. Think and Grow Rich, 70 million copies. Say there's 350 million people in the United States. It's not working too well. The Alchemist, You Can Heal Your Life, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Who Moved My Cheese, The Celestine Prophecy, The Secret. Yep, that was on Oprah Winfrey for a while. The Power of Positive Thinking. That's 20 million books. The Secret was 21 million. You Can Heal Your Life was 50 million. The Alchemist was 70 million. Chicken Soup for the Soul, 11 million. And the Four Agreements is 7 million. Okay, that's based on the numbers they know, but not all companies let you know the numbers. And so when I brought up the point is people don't have confidence. People need motivation. People have a lot of weaknesses. They don't have good self-understanding.
Christian Hutchins, FaceTime video.
Oh, my grandson from North Dakota. Sorry about that. So, people have these problems, and we're not even talking about all the diet books, self-help books, all the exercise books. We're just talking about general self-help. There's still a lot of people who have mental health problems. People have confidence problems. People have self-image problems. People are overweight. People are not healthy. But wait a minute. If you're selling 18 million books a year, shouldn't they be showing positive results? Shouldn't people be losing weight? Shouldn't people be feeling better about themselves? Shouldn't people be healthier? You know, shouldn't we have better leaders instead of people in leadership positions having leaders not necessary in leadership positions, but people understanding they are leaders? They may be untitled or unpositioned leaders, but they're quite and very good leaders. But for some reason, it isn't really working. And so, how do we fix that problem? Well, when there's always a chance to make money, you will be able to come in and with good advertising and put the right sports personality or movie star or now influence, they will tell you how you can be a better, more confident, better looking person. And you go, how? They're going to say, you can buy your way to that. So you got self-help books. They get you started, but they don't take you where you need to go. But we have it. Consumerism. There was a gentleman, and I couldn't get his name, who said, we worry about socialism, we worry about fascism, we worry about communism. Yes, those are things to worry about. But the greatest threat, he said, to democracy was consumerism. And you go, what is why would consumerism be a big threat to democracy? As I get to the end, I will give you some good examples how consumerism is a humongous threat to democracy. And as we watch what's going on, you can see how consumerism will play into personal courage, moral courage, integrity, or the lack of. Consumerism is overall pretty new. Before consumerism, yes, you had the top people like in the Victorian who had these big houses and they had servants to help them and stuff like that. They had money. Okay. You can see houses like that in the Keene area and some of the surrounding areas. And now you can even see newer houses built up on the hillside so they can overlook us peons down here. Okay. But really up to World War II, the average worker, the working class, which we're not really allowed to say anymore, their goal was to make enough money to buy the necessities. Oh, Johnny's got to go to school. Okay, we got to make sure we save enough money so Johnny can buy those shoes to start school, and hopefully those shoes will last. But if Johnny wears them out, we'll cut some cardboard and put some cardboard in until next year. If Susie's dress got torn, we will sew it up or maybe put a patch here or there, just like on the pants and stuff. Those were the necessities. Do we have enough money put aside so we can have a good Easter, a good Thanksgiving, or a good Christmas dinner? Okay, they really didn't waste anything. It's you get at that table, you do not leave the table until you finish everything. Nothing goes to waste. But after World War II, even started during World War II, a lot of these women got jobs, government jobs, building stuff, and they weren't getting paid the amount of money what the white males were, but they were making more money than they did when they worked in the knitting factories or things like that. Black people were leaving the South. They no longer had to work in the cotton cornfields. A lot of the black women no longer had to be stuck as attendants and housekeepers. And so money was being made. People had money. Also, the world was destroyed. Europe had no production capacity. China had no production capacity. Japan, Korea, Russia. The only place in the world that had production capacity was United States and Canada and some of the places in South America. But the major industrial power was the United States. United States was selling overseas. The American workers were making a lot of money. Unions were strong. And then, wait a minute, what are we going to do with Americans with all this money? So it comes down to capitalism. What is the job of capitalism? The job of capitalism is to maximize profits. And how do you maximize profits? In a capitalistic society, the international trade market dictates the world by influencing consumer and producer behavior. For the system to be function, all people must be actively maximizing their consumption by fulfilling their own needs. For the capitalistic system to be functional, all people must be actively maximizing their consumption by fulfilling their needs. Only when individuals and corporations alike continue to trade can profit be made. Additionally, trade and profits are both essential elements in the survival of the modern world. Okay? I go to work, I make money, then I have to use that money to pay for electricity, water, sewage, food, my car, gas. So I got to make money, and then I have to use all that money in consumption. Actively maximizing their consumption by fulfilling their own needs. Consumption is natural. People are animals and we have needs. But on the other hand, hyperconsumption of our growing desires have become the main pleasure we seek in our daily lives. Wait a minute. But we're buying a lot of self-help books because we feel inadequate. So now what it's saying is, hyperconsumption, if I stop buying more than what I need, I will start to feel better about myself. The increase in public demand for non-essential goods and services was, at one point, quite linear. Okay. So the demand and the consumption, it could be increasing, like a new factory may be able to come on and say, oh, we're going to produce 300 gallons of ice cream a day compared to 200. Okay, so now that they're creating 300, you have people who did not have ice cream before, they start having ice cream. And you have people who have an ice cream decide that they want more ice cream. So what happens is the consumption goes up and meets the capability of production. However, after World War II, the rise of consumption in the development world dramatically increased. And since then, the average consumption rate per person has been rising exponentially. So which means is, it's all, I don't know what's going on. All my kids and grandkids are all trying to get me. So what happens on is that now, okay, our income may be going up. Say our income goes up 5%, but our consumption rate is going higher, quicker than our income rate. So we're consuming stuff that we can't afford. And so we were having this problem. It's like, wait a minute. How are we going to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to make sure people keep matching the ability to sell them? So, hey, no problem. We'll give layaways and credit cards to the masses. Up until then, it was only the extreme wealthy that had, Diner's card or American Express card. The people down here, they might save money and get an American Express checks. So if they travel, they could use that as money because a lot of them didn't have bank accounts. But in our modern era, consumption power and liberty have become synonymous. Consumption power and liberty has become anonymous. It may seem instinctively on some levels, but it is liberating to have the right to earn a living, climb the social economic ladder, access a new level of consumption once only reserved for the elite, and in turn, climb the social economic ladder, but someone has to pay for the consumption level of the developed world. So wait a minute. The products to be consumed is getting high, is growing exponentially. But the American workers and everything, their income is going up, but it's not going up fast enough. So, wait a minute. What do we got to do? How do we sustain consumption? Hey, just send the manufacturing overseas. First to Japan, then to South Korea, then to China, then down to Vietnam and Cambodia. We'll just Mexico, and we can get cheap labor until we find someplace else even cheaper. And just going down and down and down so we can produce more products. We can produce knockoff products. We can produce fake Louis Vuitton bags. We can do this and we can do that. The free trade market now exists to maximize revenue and to obtain more material assets. Globalization of trade combined with a desire to increase wealth has caused an epidemic of consumers using their personal power as a form of identification. Consumers make and maintain their personal image through material goods. Consumers use their purchasing power as a form of identity. Consumers make and maintain their personal image through material goods. 10% for confidence, 17% for motivation, 6% for weakness, 5% for self-understanding. That's 11, that's 18, that's 28. And then optimism and happiness is 5, so that's 33. Throw in passion and vision and attitude. Now you're up to 40%. 40% of the self-help books are all about personal image. So I can buy a bunch of self-help books and I can put them on the bookshelf in my office, or I can put them on the mantle at my house so when people go in and you go, Oh, wow. He's reading all the good things. Oh, he's got Donald Trump's Out of the Deal. He's got Rich Father, what the heck was that one? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The Secret. No, Chicken Soup for the Souls. I can just buy them. I can just open it a few, dog ear a couple of pages. Then people are gonna go, wow, that's pretty impressed. I'm impressed. I think more highly of Chris. Oh man, hey, I just went out and bought $275 Tom Brady jersey, and I got a pair of Michael Jordan shoes for $850, and I got a few other things. So when I go online and get SnubHub or whatever and get like an $800 ticket to sit and freeze my butt off watching the Patriots play, I'm going to feel so much better about myself because people are going to be awestruck because, hey, I got a Tom Brady shirt. I got exclusive Michael Jordan shoes. But what happens when you go home and strip naked and stand in front of the mirror without any of those? How do you feel? What identity do you have? Do you have a different identity when you take those clothes off? You take those special things off? Or, hey, I'm going to wear a nice gold chain. Or I'm going to go to the place and I'm going to get a couple of knockoff Coach bags and Coach little catchers and stuff. So I'm going to wear it to bring it to work. But wait a minute, you're only getting $15 an hour. Some of those Coach bags will cost more than you get in a month. And plus, if it's that expensive, why would you want to bring it to work to get it knocked around and bruised and broken, things like that? Personal identity. Nothing to do with the functionality, but it all has to do how you feel about yourself and how you believe that you are impressing the people around you. Consumer sovereignty. Sovereignty means when a country owns itself, you own yourself. Countries have borders. Every one of us has a personal border. Some of us can protect our borders, others cannot. And it doesn't matter whether you're really poor or you're a multi-billionaire. Money does not give you the ability to protect. Consumer sovereignty, the idea that the most important economic goal is the fulfillment of consumer desires. Okay, look at that. For businesses and things like that, the most important thing is to fulfill consumer desires. Means that products are only produced if they're guaranteed to be brought by the consumer on the market. Oh, only if they're guaranteed to be bought. So, if our job is to we make maximum fulfillment of consumers' desires, the first thing we have to do is create consumer desires. So I'm building something, I'm going to sell, these stupid fashion shows, and you're going, what the heck? Why would anybody wear those? I wouldn't get caught dead in them. But we have MTV, we have the Met Gala, we have the Oscars, we have the Grammys. Okay, we have the red carpet. Those men and those women on the red carpet are getting paid to wear those. They're getting paid to create the desire in you and I. And it's only a matter of quick time, quick turnover. They go in and they're reacting. They have focus groups and everything, and they get the reaction of the people as they see on red carpet. And if they get the right reactions, knockoffs of that could be in the stores in a matter of a couple of days. Okay, there's something that you did not want or you would not think anything of, but they went in and create a desire. And you're afraid other people in your circle will get that dress or get that piece of jewelry before you do. And it's like, it would make you shrink. What would your identity, what would your persona be like if people got it before you? So here it is. I want to make this, but no one's interested in buying it. So I will pay people to do it, because people are in awe of Lady Gaga. People are in awe of Beyonce. People are in awe of Tom Brady. So wait a minute. If I buy the clothes they're wearing, I now have a connection with Lady Gaga, Tom Brady. Okay? It doesn't happen, but it creates a demand, and people will go in and make sure they buy those products they originally didn't even give a second thought about. We based our identity on our material possessions and judge our worth related to how much we own in comparison to those surrounding us. Our income is a representative of our financial freedom to consume and the measure of our success compared to our friends, families, and acquaintances. So it doesn't matter if we need it. It is all set up by the influence and TV commercials and the shows and all this other kind of stuff. Doesn't matter whether it's Hallmark or whatever. You know, it could be, you could be watching an adult-rated, X-rated movie and go, oh, I like that negligee, or I like that underwear. Okay, everything that comes to us visually is a marketing ad. And we get bombarded day in, day out. Just think, if you're watching TV 3 to 4 hours a day, look at all the commercials you get. If you're online, look at all the commercials that you get. Playing some of the games on your iPad or one of those other equivalents, the Amazon Fire, those. Bunch of the games will stop in the middle of the game and say, hey, buy this game, download this game. In a capitalistic society, poverty and wealth are subjective. No set definition remains static from population group to population group, because we base our status as rich and poor on the population that surrounds us. So, say I live in Ward 4, the wealthiest ward in Keene, and I have a $350,000 house, and the average house in the ward is $600,000. So I'm poor because everybody around me has bigger houses and better cars. So I am poor. Well, the person, say, in Ward 3 who has a $300,000 house, if he was to move to Ward 4, he would feel poor too. But at $300,000 house, he or she's at the top, and someone down here is at a $200,000 house, he or she feels rich. Hey, I got a big house, I got a bigger lot, I got 2 cars, and I got a trailer in my yard, so I am poor, I am rich. Okay, we don't like to use the scale anymore. Oh, I'm worth $10 billion, but my neighbor's worth $15 billion, so I'm poor. Oh, I just got a 450-foot yacht. And the rich neighbor goes, wait a minute. I gotta get a 475-foot yacht. I'm the rich person. So what we're doing is, under consumerism, we just keep buying stuff compared to our social group. Has nothing to do whether we need it or not. Because we do not want to feel as the poor one in our group. We do not want to be any worse than the middle one. So if the group's 100 to 300,000, 300 to 200,000, I have to be at least a $250,000 house. And if the person poorer than me buys a $50,000 car, I may have to buy a $60,000 or $75,000 car. And then the guy up at top says, wow, holy crap, I guess I'm going to buy a Lincoln Navigator. But you don't have any kids anymore. They're all grown. I know, but look what the other people in the neighborhood have. I can't drive around in that crap. So I'm going to buy something that more than I can afford, something I don't need, because I have a status to maintain. If we had equal financial freedom and consumption power to our peers, we view ourselves as average. Hey, so you're in a neighborhood where people are making $250,000 to $750,000 a year. The people at $250,000 are viewed as poor. I only make $400,000 a year, so I'm just average, middle of the road. But wait a minute, the other people on the other side of town, make $50,000 a year. Oh, we do not care about them. Well, yes, we do. We want them to buy as many products as possible from our company, which helps pay our salary. We don't care if they go in debt. We don't care if we have to max out the credit cards. We just want those people to buy. And if we are rich if we have more financial freedom and consumption power than our peers. And of course, if we're financially inferior to our peers, we are poor. Kind of goes to the show last week when I was talking about income and wealth. So you see right here, the part with consumption is there's a lot of people who get high incomes, but they're using a lot of their income in some cases more than their income to consume stuff they don't need so they will not appear average or poor in their group. Especially in the era of credit, consumers are encouraged to purchase well above their income, collecting large debts that they may spend years paying off. As a result, many consumers sacrifice their comfort, the comfort provided by the income, to identify with a reference group for an only short period before switching to a new one. Let's be realistic. Is years of debt really worth it? There is, of course, momentary gratification, but because the consumer purchasing power are so irrational, consumers do not generate a high enough income to maintain their desired income. I forgot to bring them, but last week got a bunch. My wife got an offer from Macy's for a credit card. And I opened it. My wife has a really good credit score, way up there, and it says, hey, you know what? JCPenney, you can have a line of credit of $10,000 and your interest rate is 34%. I go, what? 34%? Loan sharks don't charge you that much. Just think, if she maxed out that card at $10,000, she would pay $3,400 a year just for the privilege of having $10,000 on her credit card. So if she went and bought some of the stuff at Macy's so she would appear rich in our social group, it would mean we would only appear rich for a short period of time, because the credit cards could be we would pay in one, was another one was 30%. I think that was Kohl's. There was 3 of them that were in the 30 or higher, and the cheapest was 18% from Navy Federal Credit Union. But even if you put $10,000 balance, that's $1,800 a year that you pay in interest. $1,800 a year that you get paid nothing. You get nothing out of it. And if you pay the minimum balance and you never put another thing on that credit card, it will only take you 18 years to get down to zero. Human desire has not been blown into ridiculous proportions by sheer chance. Producers of the international trade market are aware of the continuous evolving desires of consumers, and so a culture of excess consumers has been carefully constructed by producers. We are manipulated. Well, you got one group of self-help books. Yeah, we know you're inferior. You know you can't do this. You got all these different problems. We're going to try to help you if you do this. And then you go over, start consuming stuff so you can feel good and everything. Now it's all about buying. Now it's all about putting a facade. The consumer society is an endless supply of advertising throughout the day. Factored with the nature of overconsumption has led some analysts to suggest that the perpetuation of materialism has led to swapping human connection for work. On average, a working adult has 6 hours of free time a day. Most people spend half of their leisure time watching TV or on social media. But they got to buy all the stuff to get a desire in disguise. Okay? Now with this increase in appetite, working class people, the average person, we're pressured. We got to get this, we got to get this. You know, I'm working. Wait a minute. I got to get my daughter this $350 mobile battery powered Bobby cart because I don't want to feel like a failure and I don't want to feel inferior. And so I at least got to get my daughter that little cart so we can show other people, hey, she's got the Bobby cart. Okay? Oh, guess what? You may have to work 10, 12, 30 hours overtime to help pay for that cart. Oh, I'm making more money. I got the cart. Oh, guess what? I get to spend time with my daughter because I have the money to do that. And you had to work overtime to get that for your daughter. And when you're working overtime, you lost the ability to spend one-on-one time with her. And it's kind of an arms race. Unless I do something stupid, I'm not moving down, and it's going to be really tough for you to move up. So it's set up, it's a losing game for everybody because it requires people to consume. Okay. The commodity form perpetuates and reshapes the dimension of social life hereto exempt from its logic to the point where subjectivity itself becomes a commodity to be bought and sold in the market as beauty, cleanliness, sincerity, autonomy. Consumption is a pastime in Western culture, a hobby, if you will. It is what we fulfill our time with to give us, our person, a sense of individuality. Look at all the ones of us that grew up in malls. The whole purpose of malls was to go out and impress people and show people what we were getting. So what we have done is we buy and buy. Oh, I don't feel good. Let's go shopping. Let's go shopping therapy. I feel bad. So yeah, I got some mental health problems. So I'm going to buy. The shopping therapy will help make me feel better. Oh yeah. But it's like, oh, I pick on my wife sometimes is, wait a minute. These still got the tags on them. When did you buy these? Oh, I can't remember. Oh, where'd the bill? What's all this stuff? It's like, oh. But it goes, so what exactly to the now underemployed lower class of working class individuals in Western nations? They become part of the underclass, meaning they live within a society that does not seek to accommodate all. The underclass were once workers or lower class individuals seeking to rise in status, degraded to the advocate of people who have grown so useless to the system they have lost a spot on the social hierarchy. Due to the absence of demand for localized human labor, there is little chance they will ever get a notable status in their life. Last week when I was talking about AI, there was a part that I emphasized a couple of times where the individual said, what are we going to do with these excess people who no longer had the ability to be productive basically in a capitalistic society. Well, it's already happened. People way down in the bottom. The people that used to go to like Mr. G's and other places, but are now replaced because other people that were higher on the list now go to Mr. G's. People that would never think of going into Walmart are going into Walmart. People are now going in Sierra and Home Goods, and I can't think of the other one, so they can buy fancy clothing that, they can show people. Bingo. That people are moving down in status as more and more wealth is moving up, people are moving down. Okay? Got a little bit, about a minute and a half left. And I told you I was going to say why overconsumption is a threat to democracy. Okay, we have a number of federal officials, whether they be judges, directors, assistant directors, or whatever. A lot of them have done what they did. They wanted to keep up with their peers. They judged themselves by their peers. They may have a big mortgage. They may have college loans. They may have college debt. Okay? When it comes time to make the moral decision, to show moral courage, to act with integrity, they will not. The reason they will not is because self-protection. If they do the right thing and says, I got to do the right thing even if it costs me my job, they're not worrying about it costing them their job. They're worrying about costing them their status. People will look the other way and be able to, with conviction, to convince themselves what they're doing is the right thing, or what they think was actually wrong was because they were thinking wrong, not because they were acting. Self-protection. That's what it all comes down to.